This is the University of Michigan.
Touchdown, Michigan!
And midcourt, extra pass.
And it goes for the win! The three-pointer by Jordan Poole!
Down the sideline! Peoples-Jones! Touchdown, Wolverine!
Welcome to Blue by 90, your Michigan Wolverines podcast. I'm Kalen, joined by Ro and Jack. Nate is on vacation here, so he's going to be gone for a little bit. But we're just going to carry on the torch here, guys. So we got a good little show here. And Ro's going to talk about recruiting, I think. So, Ro, take it away.
All right. So, yeah, we've got I'll give a little recruiting update here on both football and basketball. So we've had some traction here, especially on the football side in the past week or two. We're up to 8th nationally in the country for, according to 247, and 2nd in the Big Ten. I think everyone in the world knows who first is, and they're in first by about a mile. So we'll be chasing them forever, but that's all right. We'll get up there at some point. But we do have 14 commits here, so getting up there as far as numbers, which is good. And it sounds like we will actually be getting a ton of more, not a ton, but we'll be getting some more commits this week, actually, this coming week. So that could be some huge traction. We've got some big targets here that I'll talk about in a second. But breaking down what those 14 commits are right now, we've got one 5-star QB, JJ Mccarthy, who is the dog. You know that. He's like our greatest recruiter out there. We should have him on payroll at this point. NCAA, shut your ears when we're talking about that. But yeah, honestly, he's like, even if he doesn't pan out as a quarterback, like he's already done more than many of the quarterbacks that we've had here just on the recruiting trail. And I'll touch on him a little bit here. He's truly unbelievable. I actually saw a video of him on Twitter. He dunked on his home court, like threw down. So he is a legit athlete. I think maybe we'll see him on the basketball court too. You never know. I truly do think he is the next guy. I mean, we talk about Milton and McCaffrey every week, but I think, we're in really good hands for the next 4 years with JJ coming in, and Cade McNamara obviously behind Joe and Dylan. But JJ is gonna be a stud here. He has it all, pro style quarterback who's got the arm. We've all seen those videos of him on Twitter and whatever else. Like he's got a cannon and can fit it into some tight spots. So very, very excited about him as our leader going forward, especially honestly off the field. The leadership that he has already taking charge on this recruiting trail, I feel like he's gonna come in as a freshman here and probably make a splash as far as being vocal and a leader. And so you might see his name come up, in the next even year or two here once he steps on campus, as far as being in the mix for that starting spot. But then moving on, we do have 3 4-star O-lineman commits, which Ed Warner is the man. Again, I said this before, we got to throw the bag at him. He has killed it for us. He has turned that position group around unbelievably. So 3 4-star O-linemen. We have 1 4-star tight end, 1 3-star wide receiver, a 4-star linebacker, 2 3-star linebackers, 2 3-star D-ends, 1 3-star cornerback, 1 3-star safety, and a 3-star punter. So a little top heavy on the 3 stars here for us, which I know that we all have opinions on, and we'd love to have those 4 and 5 stars. But I do think a lot of those guys are right on the fringe of the 4 stars for a lot of those 3 stars. So I think we're in pretty good shape here. Again, we're 2nd in the Big Ten, and that's on top of Penn State and Wisconsin here. So I'm happy about where we're at right now, especially if we can get some more momentum with commits coming in the future. Our most recent commits here, we actually had one on Sunday. Junior Colson is a 4-star linebacker that committed to us. He's actually now the highest rated commit on the defensive side of the ball for us for that 21 class. So we're pumped about him. He's going to wear the number 5, which I love, single-digit linebackers. I think that's got some swag. So I'm pumped about him coming in. I really do think we could see him getting some PT as a freshman. He's ready to play. He's a big dude. We had Marcus Allen. He's a 3-star wide receiver commit. And I'm really excited about these guys that are coming in on the wide receiver. We've talked about that we haven't been able to produce those skill positions for the past few years. And I think, as far as Josh Gaddis goes, he's a wide receivers coach. He's that guy. He's going to produce these guys and really help them develop. So I'm happy about those guys, even though they might not be, the top recruits out there. Rod Moore, our guy, he's a 3-star safety that committed. So very excited about him. He runs like a 4.3.
I was going to say 4.39 40.
Unbelievable. Yeah, he that's Daxton Hill speed right there. And I'm not saying he's Daxton Hill, but as a guy who's watched our defense get burnt too many times, I'm pumped about fast safeties out there. And then the last one that committed recently was Tyler Maclaurin, who's a 3-star linebacker. So he'll join Junior Colson there and he's actually an outside linebacker. So he'll be more of maybe even the Viper position, depending on how he develops and his speed and everything. But getting into it, our most important positions that I think after that we need to target here going forward is the running back position. You notice I didn't even say running back in any of we don't have a running back commit yet in the 21 class, which is a little bit of a concern. But we do have a stacked running back room right now, so I kind of understand it. These guys don't really see that they're going to come in and play right away. Blake Corum, is there as a freshman, and he is highly touted. So I understand it a little bit, but the wide receiver position as well on the offensive side of the ball, like I said, those 3-star guys, I'd love to see some 4- and 5-star guys come in, especially under Josh Gaddis, where I know that coming in the future here, they're going to be able to put up some stats. I know we're getting our wide receivers the ball, and they're going to be putting up 1,000-yard game or seasons coming up here in the near future. And then on the D line, our D tackles, we've got some DNs that have committed that are studs, but we don't have the big boys in the middle yet that have committed. So looking for them on the trail, and we'll see how that goes. And then quick one on basketball. So it's just a completely different recruiting scene from Juwan Howard than it was for John Beeline. We weren't even meeting or listening or talking to any 5-stars in the past. And now it's like any 5-star out there we're offering to them. We've got offers out to 10 5-stars, 4 4-stars, and 1 3-star right now. So what that tells me is that Juwan Howard is not only just going to be super aggressive on the recruiting trail, and he thinks that we truly can get these guys. He believes that we are, a top 5 program to come to at this point for these 5-star guys. So I would say to the listeners, don't get frustrated with these 5-star recruits because they act like Isaiah Todd and Josh Christopher, man. They're all over the place. They chase a bag. They do all that stuff. So the recruiting we're in a whole different world now with Juwan Howard. But the 2 top targets that we have right now, Jaden Akins is a 4-star point guard from Farmington, in-state guy. We got to have him, I think. MSU obviously on the basketball front has dominated in-state recruiting for a while, but we're turning a page here, and I think we can get him from Farmington. And then Trevor Keels is a 5-star shooting guard from Virginia that I believe we could get. Tall guy, can shoot the heck out of the ball. So it'll be interesting to see how all of it pans out on the basketball side, but it's just like it's so much different, man. And I'm excited. The thing is that I think it's a success for Juwan Howard we've been in the top 5 for so many 5-stars in the, even in year 1. It's only going to get better. He hasn't even had a chance to talk to these guys for a long time, whereas we're now going up against the Dukes, Kentuckys, Kansases, Michigan States. Like, we're going up against those big dogs, the Blue Bloods, and they've been talking to these dudes since they were 14. So once Juwan gets really into the recruiting mix, especially on the AAU side, I think Jet Howard will probably commit as well soon, and hopefully he can help us out on the recruiting side too. I think we'll make a big splash in the next few years. So that's all I've got on the recruiting side.
Well, that's a lot of good news, recruiting, and a lot of information in general. But it's funny because I'm sure a lot of that will change next week.
Yep. Well, we might have to do a whole nother segment next week, and I'm going to run out of breath at some point if we keep talking about all this recruiting.
Yeah, I'm surprised you even got all that out. Glad I wasn't holding my breath. But no, it's all good information. But I'm sure we're all leaning towards the same thing, which is we want to recruit the best players that we can get so that we can beat Ohio State. And so I'm going to use that as our segue into Jack's topic. Jack, I think you got some good news about our attitudes towards Ohio State.
Yes, and that is a big thing. So I'm sure everybody's seen this in the past week where Jim Harbaugh addressed, how we haven't beat Ohio State. In the time that he's been there, basically he said, nothing makes us angrier than losing to Ohio State. And nothing makes us angrier as fans than losing to Ohio State. So I feel like, honestly, I feel like we've never really had him address it like this, where he's really bringing it up and, telling Mike Tirico, we've got to beat Ohio State. Like, that's what we're working towards every day. We've beaten everybody else, but we haven't beaten them. And the fact that that is such a big focus right now makes me so happy. All I want to see is us beat Ohio State. Like, that's our biggest drive. We haven't beaten them since 2011. And basically that's what Harbaugh was brought to Michigan for. Beat Ohio State, win the Big Ten, go to the playoff, win a title. And he's yet to do any of those four. But that was big. That was the big expectation because he was a big name to come to Michigan and do that. Obviously, he's done a great job. But obviously, the big thing is, we haven't beat Ohio State. So for him to be focusing on that is huge and great as a fan to hear. We've been so close a couple times under Harbaugh, but to see that really come out during the offseason where they're making that a big focus excites me because I do think we have two of our best quarterbacks we've had under Harbaugh's tenure and a lot of talent, both on the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball. So I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped for this season. I know we've heard a lot recently about what's really going to happen, and there may even be fans in the stands. A lot of positivity is going towards this college football season, so it's just getting me more and more amped up.
No, I'm with you. I honestly, though, I was a little bit confused because I thought Harbaugh was always, it's about the next game. And then for him to say nothing makes us angrier than to lose to Ohio State, it kind of makes me say, well, why'd you take the countdown clock away? Why don't you have, the Ohio State minute every practice, which maybe they do, and I just have no idea. But the fact that he articulated it, that made me happy. And so I'm like, okay, now I know. I mean, I already knew, but now you're saying it. You know what I mean?
Grip, baby. We're on the up and up now.
Yeah.
And I think one thing you just said, Kalen, is, you don't know what they're doing on the inside, right? We have no idea what those practices are like, the meetings are like. They could be talking about it every day, and it just hasn't mattered because Ohio State is more talented. That's where I get so frustrated when with our fan base, with them calling, them out, they don't take the Ohio State game seriously enough, all that stuff. Like, no, none of us know. You can't possibly, call them out for that when you have never stepped foot inside Schembechler Hall. And I'm very certain that they think it's a big game. It's talked about nearly every day, with Jim Harbaugh. You think he doesn't know it's a big game? It's so that whole take on wow, he's not taking it seriously enough, I think is a bit ridiculous, to be honest. And I saw a stat that since Jim Harbaugh took over, The rest of the country is 8-67 against Ohio State. It's not like we're the only people losing to them. It's so although 100% he does have to beat them, but like nobody else, Michigan State beat them twice, I think, in D'Antonio's however many years. It's like, I mean, Harbaugh does have to win some big games. And my biggest gripe with Harbaugh is not even the Ohio State thing. It's at some point you got to win games sometimes that you shouldn't. We have never won as underdogs. We don't win on the road. He wins every game he should, but at some point, to be a great coach, that's what Mark D'Antonio, that's how he cemented himself as a fantastic coach. He won all those games when they were 14-point underdogs, 10-point underdogs. We somehow can't get that done, and that's when it pisses me off. I think I saw something. We are 29-0 at home against teams that are not Michigan State and Ohio State. We win the games that we're supposed to win. We win all of them, nearly. But then we lose nearly all the games that we're supposed to lose. And if you want to take that next step, as if you're Jim Harbaugh, you have to win some of those games that you're not supposed to win.
Maybe they should call up D'Antonio now that he's retired, right?
I'm sure he'd be happy to come over and help Harbaugh. They're best of friends.
He's always looks so friendly. Just look at him.
Yeah.
No, but another question that would lead me to ask is, am I going to have the chance to go see them, have the opportunity to beat Ohio State, especially this year, right? With all the stuff going down. Are we going to play? If so, are we going to play with any fans? All of those questions. And so there's some kind of interesting remarks all around. The Michigan AD, Mark Schlissel, he said that there would be no athletics at Michigan if there was no students on campus. And it's especially different because Michigan has a stay-at-home order until June 12th, so no players can be on campus. Meanwhile, at Ohio State AD Gene Smith said that players can return on June 8th. Okay. Same in the SEC. SEC players are allowing players to return June 8th, and Illinois, for some reason, is allowing players to return June 3rd. I don't know. I guess Lovie Smith wants a leg up, whatever. Meanwhile, the NCAA has said all athletes can return June 1st, pending their universities. So what do we make about this? There's kind of a lot of information floating around. We even had Joel Klatt saying, there will be a season with, more fans than not, and it will be on time. Some of that sounds extremely optimistic, but I don't know. What are our thoughts on that?
I mean, as far as what I'm thinking, and yeah, very, very. Obviously, we have no idea what's going on with this virus. Everything's changed every day. The CBC comes out with something new every day. We have no idea what's going on. But the crazy thing to me is Michigan seems to be the only university that is abiding by the fact that these are students first and athletes second. Every other, not that I'm saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying, where every other university, they're like, yeah, bring football back. They make us all our money. They're students, but this is where we get all our income. Come back this date, whether it's safe for them or not. Where Michigan's like, you know what? If it's not safe for the students, the football team are students, and we're not going to bring them back. I'm not saying I disagree or agree with it or anything by that, but I think it's a very interesting stance by Michigan. Don't love it, don't hate it, but obviously I want to see a football season, but I think we're in the right by saying if it's not safe for these players, we're not going to put them at risk. And that's showing that U of M really actually cares about their players, where maybe other universities aren't. I'm just going to leave it at that.
And to your point there, Schlissel, I'm pretty sure, has either a doctorate or some type of training in immunology, right?
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
I would think he might know a few things, and he's probably erring on the side of caution. So to your point, Jay, and here's the thing: it's been kind of a roller coaster over the past 2 weeks because we went from no football to all right, where there's a good chance we have a season to Ohio State's AD Gene Smith saying they're going to have 20 to 50,000 people at their games. And then we come back and Schlissel is saying, he's like, saying, are we sure that we really will have a season? So it's all over the place. But what I think Schlissel is doing is he's probably just saying, let's tap the brakes a little bit here. We're not there yet. There are still people out there suffering and dying from this virus. And there's could be the second wave. So I think he's being like the cautionary guy. And while everyone else wants to, give optimism, which I love the optimism, but he's saying, he's coming out and being a little more realistic on the side of we don't know yet. Whereas Gene Smith, who I'll say this right now, I think is a jackass for saying that he's going to have 50,000 people at his games. Yeah, like it should, for him to come out and say that on May 20th is outrageous. But I will say I talked to somebody from Michigan yesterday, and they put their percentage at football happening at 95%. So wow. If that's got to make everyone feel pretty good. I think that everyone is like right around that 20,000 people maybe mark as far as how many fans can attend. I mean the whole Governor Whitmer said that we can gather in groups of 10, right? So maybe we can tailgate in groups of 10. I don't know.
Question: can we tailgate?
Exactly. Football is kind of secondary to tailgating at this point, but at my tailgates too, there's about 100 people, so we might have to break it down to like groups of 10 and scatter around. But sorry, I was just going to finish up. I do think football will happen, but I think that people, everyone was just like so 100%. Joel Klatt is like, saying it's a foregone conclusion. And what happens in the next 3 months is going to tell the tale, and we don't know what's to come there.
Well, let me just ask you guys, too. I mean, let's say they were letting 20,000 people into the big house and you had a ticket and they had, staggered entrance times or something like that. Would you go? And if you did, do you think you would still be able to enjoy the game?
Oof.
I actually had this conversation just yesterday, too, when we were talking about it. And I think I would, just because the exclusivity of it. It would be like, you can say you're one of those 20,000 or whatever. You were there at that time. This is going to be one of the craziest seasons of the last 100 years of football. So, like, to be able to say that was pretty cool, would be pretty cool. But I might say, I'd rather tailgate in the parking lot and watch it on the TV with some friends instead of like a majority empty Michigan stadium's not going to have the same vibe, man. I don't know if I want to see it like that.
Yeah, Kalen, great question, bro. Great. I like what you said. Like the exclusivity behind it would be cool. It's like, hey, I went to a game in 2020 when the coronavirus pandemic was going on, and it was crazy. I was like sitting by myself, and there's somebody with me, and that's just how it was. I don't know if I'd want to go to a game. I think kind of like what Rose said at the end. Like, I'd rather be around my buddies, social distancing, with 10 people that I love, and like, I'm able to drink on TV and enjoy the game. But also, we've said it a million times. We want the big house to be loud, so I'd love to go to the game and be able to contribute in that way. But I'm leaning towards I'd rather watch it on TV, and I honestly don't think we'll have fans. But that's just because we have no idea what's happening. I mean, everything changes daily. That's the side I'm going to take. But I'd probably rather watch it at home, be able to enjoy it, and continue the party while I watch Michigan win by 90.
I saw something the other day. Obviously, they're going to win by 90. They always do, right? And I saw something the other day, though, jokingly, like, if you've ever said down in front in Michigan Stadium, those are the first people that can't come in this year. Yeah. If we've got a list running of who can come in and who can't, it's if you've ever said down in front or just sat during a touchdown, you're off the list immediately. So
You know the thing that's cool? Those will be the first people to go in.
that's what.
It would literally be louder if we had no fans than those 20.
100%. I said, I mean, to be honest with you, if we had 20,000 of our loudest fans, it might be just as loud as 100,000 with, 60% of those people being the sit downers.
100%. I agree with you.
Well, I hope that we can figure something out, and I hope that we could still have a season and have just as much fun and make the big house as loud as we possibly can. Maybe we'll start pumping in, some crowd noise or something. I don't know.
Love it. Make the big house loud again. Merch coming soon.
Hey, yeah, I'm buying 30 of them, handing them out. So, all right, that's all the topics we got for this portion of the show. Does anybody else have anything they want to contribute?
Nope. We got Ben coming on in a second, right?
Yep. So interview with Ben Keizer, Michigan baseball. So stay tuned for that. All right, now we have Ben Keizer on. Ben, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, fellas. Happy to be here.
Great. What have you been up to during quarantine?
Yeah, it's been a little different. I was telling the guys earlier, we'd be playing the Big Ten tournament this weekend, so not being there is a little tough, but we've been keeping busy. I'm here in Ann Arbor right now. We got a group of guys here that stuck around and been working out, throwing, staying up to it as much as possible, keeping busy. So it's been good.
Good. Glad to hear you're doing well. Glad to hear you got a couple guys staying in Ann Arbor too.
Yeah.
Jack, you want to chime in with a question?
Yeah. So, well, I guess, yeah, you said you guys are still in Ann Arbor. Like, are you guys, are you able to get on the fields or anything and access anything? Are you guys going out to just like the IM fields and like kind of working out, or how's that work out right now?
Yeah, so we've had to get a little creative. The university shut down the baseball field. They locked all the gates. They put a truck on the mound, trying to keep us off as much as possible. They actually shut down, like all the intramural fields and things along that line. So we've actually gone over to Huron High School, kind of go over there, get our work in. And we also got a little creative too with the weights. We were able to rattle up some weights from our indoor facility and put them in our one of our friends' backyard. So we've got a little backyard gym back there, and we'll throw every morning, work out, and then kind of get with our day. So it's been good, better than you could expect with all the gyms and stuff closing, but making the most of it.
For sure, man. I guess, and kind of jump off of that with you guys staying in Ann Arbor. How's that working with you? Because I know you were a senior, right? You were going to graduate and kind of move on, do your next thing. Is it mostly seniors staying back, or is there underclassmen as well?
Yeah, so it's kind of a mix. So I was a redshirt senior this year, got my undergrad last year, finished up with a master's, and we had to finish with online classes and stuff, but a lot of guys ended up going home. So we got a group here right now with a couple of juniors, a couple of the pro guys came back that, like Jimmy Kerr and Troy Miller and guys like that came back. So there's about a group of like 8 or 9 of us, mix of juniors, seniors, and some of the pro guys too.
Cool.
Nice. So getting into it a little bit here at the, you said you're from Portage Northern. So homegrown kid here in the state of Michigan. Was it a no-brainer that you were coming to U of M, or what was the recruiting process like? What were your other options? How did that all pan out?
Yeah. Michigan was always, my dream school, and it might sound a little cliche, but it truly was. My oldest brother, so we had 2 older brothers. My oldest brother, he's 4 years older than me. He walked on to the football team here. So I kind of experienced that all throughout high school, kind of lived vicariously through him. I went to both of the first 2 under the light games against Notre Dame. Absolutely electric environment. So as a high school kid, seeing that, it was a no-brainer for me to come and be a part of it, be a part of the legacy, and try to make a mark and contribute to the rich Michigan tradition that we have here. So I think from the outset it was a no-brainer. I had a couple schools reach out to me locally, nothing too big, but as soon as Michigan came knocking, it was a no-brainer for me.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I think if your recruiting visits, or I don't even know if they were recruiting visits, but under the lights, I mean, that's the first one. I think we were all there, at least around it. And it was like, I mean, they had to get every recruit possible that was there that day. It had to be a commit instantly. So that was a good one to go to.
That was absolutely electric.
So obviously you've had a chance to spend some time in Ann Arbor. If you're a redshirt senior, you've been here for a little while. What would you say is your favorite thing about Ann Arbor?
That's tough. Ann Arbor's kind of become my home. I think that's what's so great about it. I love the community feel. I love that everything's, close, but not enough. In walking distance, you don't feel like you're living on top of a lot of things to do. There's a lot of great people here too, and I think that's huge. You're surrounded by excellence in the classroom, on the baseball field, in the student athlete center. There's so many amazing people and so many experiences. I mean, you got people coming from California, Florida, all across the country, all across the globe, and being able to pick their brains and learn from them, learn from their experiences. I think that's huge. So I think the community overall and being able to connect with so many diverse people, I think has been great for me.
I agree with you. I mean, I love that part about Ann Arbor. What do you guys think? You got a favorite thing, or you agree? What do you think?
I mean, what's your I know Ro and I have had this topic when we had our own thing. What's your favorite bar in Ann Arbor, man? That's what I'm curious about. I know we end up going to Skeeps after the holiday party for other than that, what would you say is your favorite bar or restaurant in Ann Arbor?
That's tough. There's a lot of great spots. I love Bill's Beer Garden in the summer. That's one of my top spots to go. But if it comes down to restaurants, there's so many different food places. It kind of just depends on the meal. You go to Neo for pizza, you go to Chelos for Mexican, Tumakun for some Asian cuisine. So that's another great thing about Ann Arbor. They've got a lot of great offerings, but if I had to pick one, it'd probably be Bill's. Definitely Bill's.
Bill's. Sure.
Great choice.
And that's now. I just want to be able. I don't even care. I'll wait in a line down Liberty just to get an Oberon that I can get somewhere else for $2. And I'll like it. Just beautiful weather. I mean, even today in Ann Arbor, like this is rare for us right now. It's warm. Yeah. It feels like summer. I just want to be at Bill's Beer Garden, man. Just drinking beer, playing games or something.
Sign me up.
Yeah, 85 and sunny today has me trying to get to any patio out there. So, but you mentioned that you guys would have been playing in the Big Ten tournament right now. So, going back to the beginning of quarantine here, which feels like 10 years ago, but it's about 2 months ago now. What was that? How did that all go down when you guys realized or got the word that the season was going to be canceled? And as a redshirt senior, this was your last go around. How did you react personally? How was the team? How did you guys stay, at least somewhat positive during all that?
Yeah, that was a rough time when we first found out. We were actually coming back from our spring break trip, so we went out to California. Played a couple games there, finished up at Pepperdine, and then we were headed right back home, getting ready for the next week. And I think it was either Tuesday or Wednesday when we found out. And we were just going to practice like normal. We usually meet for about 30 to 45 minutes before, kind of go through the day, what we learned from the weekend, things along that line. And we were all in there ready to go, and Coach wasn't in there. And we started to worry a little bit. We saw on Twitter a lot of conferences started to, postpone the season and things along that line. So we kind of had an idea on the back of our head. We didn't want it to be true, but we were thinking along those lines. And Coach comes in, he calls the coaches and the seniors to his office. And at that moment, we all kind of knew, our hearts dropped. He let us know that the season was canceled. It wasn't even postponed. And as a redshirt senior and the seniors as a whole, we were devastated. We spent, about an hour, 2 hours on the field crying together. He announced it to the team, let everybody know kind of what was happening, and we all just sat there. We sat on the field. We didn't want to leave. We were in our practice uniforms. We couldn't believe that, it was over. And I think the hardest thing for us is that, as seniors, we didn't get that last opportunity to play on the field and play at Ray Fisher Stadium. That was tough for us. But the one thing that we could take from it, is that we were in it together and we had each other. No matter what the next step was for us, whether it was pro ball, summer ball, even next season, we had each other. We had the memories that we made throughout the fall. We know all the work that we put in to get to that point, which was one reason why I made it so tough. But knowing that we went through that together and we were able to share that together and, make the sacrifice and make sure that, everyone in the community is safe. And we put our selfish behaviors to the side and, really get this thing under control. So, yeah, it was a devastating moment. It hit us hard for about a week, but, we kind of refocused and realized we have a great opportunity here to get better and use these 2 months to develop it in some way and hopefully, propel us into summer ball, pro ball, the next season, whatever it may be. So.
Yeah, and I think there's the old saying of play every game like it's your last. And you guys, there's not many people out there that truly played a game, their last game, without knowing it was their last game. Usually you come to the end of the season or your senior year and you're either in a win or go home type of situation. And it's like, you guys didn't even get that chance. So it's kind of it's tough, I'm sure, as far as like, there's no closure and, you guys didn't want to leave. You said that had to be, as a former athlete, we all are former athletes. It's like, that tears at my heart just hearing it, man. That's brutal.
Yeah, it's tough, but if it works out and propels next year's team to get back to Omaha, then we know that everything we sacrificed is worth it. So.
And I'm glad you said Omaha, man. So sorry guys, while I was gone, couldn't get a dog. It's that freaking dog, man. Well, we can kind of go over like what was that like? Like your guys' run last year through the series. That was incredible. Yeah. Honestly, like. I went to I think a couple games with Aaron and just meeting up with Maddie to watch you guys play. And I think the one game I really remember was, I can't remember who hit it, but somebody hit a walk-off home run against Indiana. And that was it. That was one of the games we were at. And it was just so cool to watch you guys play. Like, it seems you guys are brothers on the field. Like you just love playing together. And I guess, what was your favorite moment during that last year's College World Series run? Or like, what was the moment where you guys knew, like, okay, like we can really go far into this?
Yeah. The thing about last year, there's so many great storylines. There's so many stories from Jimmy Kerr's legacy with his grandparents, his grandfather and his dad, Tommy Henry flu game, Jack Blanc breaking his finger. Like, there's just so many unbelievable moments in that run, which truly is what made it special. I think, the moment for me that made us realize we could do anything was, that walk-off against Illinois in the Big Ten tournament. And I think we can all say we caught lightning in a bottle in that moment and realized that, this is a real opportunity. And to see the seniors go out on a strong note was huge for us. We know how much, they put into this. We came in, so that technically is my class as well, but we came in at a time where Michigan was coming off their first Big Ten title in a long time. The momentum was high, and we went through 3 tough years. We came in second place by half a game. We had a 4-12 start one year. We were able to bounce back from all those bumps, but being able to finally break through, get that walk-off hit and propel that into the tournament, be one of the last 4 seeds in, and really get that opportunity, go to Corvallis, take care of business there, and then get to UCLA, the number 1 team in the country. Played them earlier in the year, had some success, but we knew it was going to be a tough match, and I think from that point on, we just trusted in each other. We were just having fun. We didn't really care about tomorrow. We just focused on that moment, and we were able to slow it down. And then, that took us in to Omaha, and that experience in itself is something that you can't put a price tag on. And so fortunate to be able to have that experience and be there and send the seniors off on a high note.
And that was a cool moment, man. Like I sent a Snapchat to my buddies, and I was watching that game. I can't remember who was pitching. It was either Jack or Tommy, And I was like, are you guys watching this game? Like they're beating the #1 team in the country right now. Like, I hope you're all watching this. And everybody was watching. And I think that was kind of the moment where a lot of Michigan fans where, traditionally, I'll follow football and basketball. Even as a former baseball player, I never really followed Michigan baseball until Zach Putnam, who was a alumni from Pioneer High School, where Kalen and I went, where he went there, and they had great teams for a few years. But just watching you guys was so fun, man. And we sent it to everybody. And I think everybody was just watching that, enjoying that run. But you brought up Omaha. I mean, what was that experience like?
It's crazy, honestly. And if you're not a baseball fan, I don't care. You got to take a trip to Omaha. You got to experience it. It's great that Michigan was there, and we got a lot of alumni that were able to do that. But that place is unlike any other. It's truly, it's like a kid going to Disney World, honestly. Like, it's unbelievable. There's booths set up everywhere, tents with gear for every team and music on the streets, and there's the stage, and just the electricity and the atmosphere and how many people are truly invested in baseball alone is crazy. And being able to experience that, the first day we got there, we kind of had like a practice, and then we did the whole media thing, had autographs, whatever, and then we had an opening ceremony, and the stadium was filled just for the opening day. Like, and it wasn't even the team's fans yet. Like, our alumni weren't there yet, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, all those teams' fans weren't there yet. They're just getting in. So it's just truly baseball fans. It's the city of Omaha. They're truly invested fully into those 2 weeks, and it's an experience unlike any other.
That's awesome, man.
I've had a lot of friends that have gone down or that's their yearly trip, and they swear by it that it's like honestly one of the greatest sports experiences out there, which I think people would never think about that just because college baseball isn't, it's not on the stage of college football and college basketball as far as being on ESPN and prime time and things like that. But I've heard just unbelievable things about it. And I'm so happy you guys got to experience that. It's so cool. What was it like as, you guys are a team that up here in Ann Arbor, let's be honest, you guys don't get a ton of fans here. You'll travel to SEC or out west and go play in places that do have a great home fan base. Was it a little bit of a shock factor to be in that environment that it's like people are loud, and especially as a pitcher, they're coming at you. I'm sure the opposing fans are booing and heckling and all that stuff.
Yeah, we've actually gotten this question a lot, and I think all of my teammates will answer the same way. I think the Big Ten tournament really prepared us for that moment. Being in Omaha, we'd already played 5 or so games there in that stadium, so we knew the ballpark. We knew basically everything there was to be and like live in the hotel, and just the whole atmosphere, the whole environment. That was honestly the most fans I've ever played in front of. But our night game against Nebraska, that actually knocked us out of the tournament, prepared us for that. They were ruthless. And I mean, the stadium was packed, but Nebraska travels well in every sport. And those fans, it was 13,000 just straight Cornhuskers, just unbelievable. They're chanting every pitch. Anytime they do something good, it erupts. Like, I think all my teammates can attest that, that moment there, playing against Nebraska in the Big Ten tournament in Omaha, kind of prepared us. And I think, too, once we got to Omaha, it's obviously a different beast. 25,000 people in the stands. You can't really prepare for it, even no matter how much you train for it. But I think just being able to look at each other and laugh and joke and kind of ease those nerves really helped. But it's still like I'll never forget being able to look up into the stands, see all of our fans, see all of our family, all our friends, and really just soak that moment in. So.
And I just have one more thing before we move on from that, but you keep touching on the fun and the laughing and the joking, and it's just crazy to me how I could see that so easily from TV, from home. It was like you guys were truly just there, like on the highest high you could be, and they're like soaking it all up, which was so cool to see. Because I think I would assume, for me as a former athlete, it's like I would be crapping my pants a lot of the time. And it really didn't seem like you guys ever were, it felt like you guys had been there, for the last 10 years straight almost. It was just another day at the office. And it was just so fun to see. I equate it to your guys' team last year to the 2018 basketball team, Michigan basketball team. It was like they had that unbelievable run, and it's just so fun to watch. Great group of guys, great personalities and everything. So that was you keep touching on that. So I had to say it. It's like it was just from 1,000 miles away in my living room. I could tell you guys were just like living your best life truly there.
Yeah, we were, and it felt like that.
Did Bakich have fun when he was over there, or was he all?
He loved it. It's been his dream to go there ever since he started coaching. Even as a player, that was their dream. And, he kind of took over the reins. I think it was 8 years ago. That's been his dream. That's what he told our administration. That's what he told all the players when he assumed that position. And no one really believed him. And if you would have told me coming in as a freshman, I probably didn't believe him either. I thought it was great to shoot high and set your sights on the ultimate goal, but to actually get there and see that come to fruition, it's unbelievable. And that guy's put so much work into making Michigan what it is today. And a lot of our success can be credited to him and the rest of the coaching staff. And we're fortunate that the program's in his hands.
And we've heard just based off of other podcasts and some other players going on there and talking to whoever's interviewing them, just some amazing stories, like dealing with Bakich and how he believed in you guys so much and how great of a leader he is. So I guess it can be funny, it can be serious, it can be whatever it is. But what's your best Erik Bakich story?
He's provided me with material that'll probably last time. He is something else. He's his own breed, and that's what makes him him, and it's awesome. But the one that sticks out to me that describes him the most, he's all in all the time. And this actually goes back to the fall. So he actually received an email from his kid's elementary school that said if the temperature is above 0 degrees, they're going outside for recess. So he brought that email to us one day in a meeting in December and showed us. And he said, look, if these 8, 9, 10-year-old kids can do it. So we all looked at him crazily, rolled him out. But believe it or not, we were in January preseason getting ready to go out to California. And it's awful outside. It's probably 20 degrees, wind chill. It's snowing sideways. They plowed off the field before practice so that we could use it. We have turf, so we're able to do that. And we're all looking at each other like, all right, this man's crazy. Like, he's pulling a prank on us. Like, we're going to go inside, hit in the den, get our work in, and get out of there. We line up normally like we'd practice, get into that meeting. He sends us outside, and we're all shattering. Teeth are shattering, hands in pockets. Like, God, this guy's crazy. We go through, we stretch. And he kind of stops us halfway through our stretch because he notices guys are kind of covering up, putting their hands in their pockets, hoodies up, whatever it may be. And I kid you not, he looks at us, rips off his shirt. You can't get hot unless you know the cold. And this dude's just screaming, like, off, running around in the snow. We're like, wow. Like, he's actually serious. And as crazy as it sounds, it livened us right up. We got into it. We saw how much he cared, the passion that he had, and how much he wanted us to get better that day. And we ran with it. The energy was up. We were jumping around, turned the music on, and we had a good day of practice outside, believe it or not. But, his energy, his enthusiasm for Michigan and for us as players is second to none. And, he's as crazy as can be, but we love him.
That's awesome, man.
and that, I think that kind of turned into your guys' theme and mantra for the rest of the year, didn't it? That was, I remember seeing some stuff post on social media that it's you can't get hot unless you know the cold, right?
Yep, it did. And believe it or not, like, that actually helped us. It calloused our minds. And, we never played in those conditions necessarily, but, a lot of the adversity that went throughout the season was because of our training and how we went in and carried our business day in and day out. So a huge testament to him and him.
That's awesome. I mean, that's I don't even know what to say to that. That's a great story. And I'm glad you said that about Omaha too, because that wouldn't have even been on my list as just a place to go. But now, I mean, that's that's
We've
right up
got
there.
to take a trip down for sure.
Yeah.
Have to. It's a must.
Plus, I got my cat here trying to jump all over here. So I'm sorry.
We can
Right.
we can see the tail wagging in front of the camera. It's hilarious.
With baseball at Michigan done, what are you looking to do now? Are you pursuing a career, trying to get into the MLB? Have you kind of moved on from baseball? I guess where are you at with that?
Yeah, my sights are still on playing. I think the way the season ended, and having it taken away from us, and not really being able to get that closure on the season, it's fueled me and it's fueled a lot of my teammates. And the sights are set on pro ball, and that's my goal. The draft has altered a little bit, and it's going to be a little crazy come June 10th. But hopefully, a team takes a shot, and I get that opportunity, and I get the opportunity to just run with it and give it everything I have. That's the thing with me. I still have a lot to give to the game, and I think with that opportunity, it'd be unbelievable to see how far I can go. So
For sure, man. And I mean, obviously, best of luck to you. Obviously, if we can see any Michigan alum, get into MLB, like that's always an awesome thing to be able to witness. But I guess, I think that's all of our questions.
I have one more that wasn't it wasn't on our list, but so you're a pitcher, right? A relief pitcher. So I mean, that's on par with like kickers and punters as far as weird people go. Right. So I don't know if any of our listeners
forget that.
I don't know if many of our listeners, are familiar with baseball and stuff, but do you have any weird habits out in the bullpen? Was there, what was it like out in the bullpen? What would you say is the weirdest part about your game?
Yeah, not a lot of people know, but the bullpen might be one of the weirdest places in sports. A lot of characters in that area, so. I don't do anything too weird. I get pretty hyped and locked into the game. So you'll see me pacing around or talking to myself. But each guy has their own thing. Some guys rip energy drinks or snort smelling salts or whatever it may be. I don't do anything along
that was gonna go.
The bullpen definitely has some crazy stories too. So.
You guys are like it's your own team out there by themselves. So you got to
keep ourselves occupied.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you got to keep yourself busy out there. Some of those games, 9 innings gets to be a long time especially if you're not throwing that day.
Yeah.
All right, that's all good stuff. Does everybody get a chance to ask all their questions and everything?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
You got that hot take ready, Ben?
Yeah.
Your hot take?
Need to go?
Oh, my hot take. I've been thinking about these ones. I don't know how hot it might be, so I just let me know.
Basically, compared Joe Milton to Patrick Mahomes, so you can't do much worse than that.
I think this one might be a little warm take, but I think if Isaiah Livers comes back, doesn't end up going to the NBA, the Michigan's going to go to the Final Four. So hopefully,
love it.
On his first Final Four appearance as a coach and get Michigan basketball back where it should be.
I love it when we have people come on and they just hype me up, man. Nothing better.
Love it. That is a great take. Great take.
I like that.
I will go next because mine is on the same team as Ben's here.
Okay.
Ready? I've got John here as this is a little clue for it, but hold on. Let me get ready and then you can start the timer. All right, go for it, Kalen.
All right, are you ready?
Yep.
Your 0 to 90 take begins right now.
All right, so We need to build John Beeline a statue here at the University of Michigan, right outside Chrysler Center. He is no doubt the greatest coach to ever come to the University of Michigan. Your stat of the day here. In the 10 years before John Beeline, the University of Michigan Wolverines spent 2 weeks in the AP poll out of 200 total weeks there. 200 total weeks, and we only had 2 weeks in the AP poll before Beeline.
Oh,
And then he went to the national title twice.
That's your 30 seconds. That's a great stat, though. I love it.
So is his statue going to have the water gun?
I mean, we might as well do this exact one with the squirt gun here. It's iconic.
That'd be perfect.
I do know. He saw this, and the hair's a little too silver for him. I think he had a problem with how gray his hair looks on this thing. So we got to get it a little more blonde, and yeah. But I definitely think the squirt gun needs to be in the statue right outside Chrysler.
Can we just build him a big bobblehead?
Yeah. There you go.
All right, Kill, I'm here.
It's you. It's all you, buddy.
Let me know when we're ready. I'm not going to need the 30 seconds again. I love it. I love just being quick. I don't have to worry about it. Don't have to feel it.
Jack, 0 to 90 begins right now. Go.
All right. With the trajectory of all of these programs at Michigan, I'm gonna say the big three. Sorry, hockey, I got to leave you out. But football, basketball, baseball. Yeah. I say at the end of whenever the next full season is going to be, every single team will finish top 10 in the country. Top 10.
Love that.
Wow.
That's
top 10.
Love that.
Spot top on. 10. Left 10 seconds on the clock for 0 to 90. Pretty good.
Love the bad boys, I guess, you know.
That was a great take there. I love it. That was spicy. that pretty much means that baseball is going back to Omaha, right? It's top 8 that go to Omaha. So
yeah.
There you go.
That's good. That was our 0 to 90. I didn't have any hot takes, as usual.
Oh, you got to come up with one. You can't just not do it. Better make something up.
Oh gosh. I got nothing. Ben, thanks for coming on. It's a pleasure. You definitely enlightened me to a little bit, looking at scheduling my trip to Omaha now. Is there anywhere that we can find you on Twitter or something like that, or that you want to plug?
Yeah, I have a Twitter and Instagram. B_Keizer on Twitter and B_Keizer1 on Instagram. So give it a follow.
Yeah, check him out. And then check us out at Blue by 90 on Instagram and at Blue by 90 Podcast on YouTube.